And good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday. It's Jason Mann with Jim Check on Kelowna Now, live on YouTube and X. And good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Are you ready to go?
Let's do it. We have got your 5-day weather forecast for ATB Wealth coming up shortly. First off, let's dig into today's headlines. The anticipated announcement by the Bank of Canada has come down, and the Bank of Canada says that they're going to hold the interest rate at 5% again.
Surprise, surprise. Old Tiff Macklin there. Says they're going to hang on to this rate for now. I think a lot of people are expecting the rate to come down in the spring. The move was widely predicted by economists and financial analysts. It comes after inflation increased in December with the latest annual rate announced on January 16 at 3.4. In November, October is 3.1. But we have seen fuel prices come down. We have seen the price of oil come down. So I'm imagining a lot of this is energy related. We should start to see inflation coming down. The central bank said in its announcement that inflation is easing gradually in most countries around the world while global growth continues to slow. And there they go. They say oil is about $10 lower. There you go. In Canada, the economy has stalled and since the middle of 2023, and growth will likely remain close to zero. So that's what's probably going to convince them to drop the rates. Job vacancies are back to pre-pandemic levels. There you go. So next target rate, March 6th.
All right. And Highway 97 is going to be set to be closed again for blasting this coming up Friday during the usual time.
There you go. Good time to have lunch between 11 and 12:30. So
usual place, the usual time.
It must be a place if you're traveling back and forth all the time. Must be a good place to go find your lunch or try a couple different places, right? No traffic being allowed through the area while they're blasting. That's no surprise there.
And skiers have been rescued from Big White after they dug a snow cave to survive.
Well, that's the smart thing to do because if you're out of the wind, it's a lot warmer for sure. So the COSAR, the Central Okanagan Search and Rescue, said the trio was at the Two John Lake area of Big White Ecological Reserve yesterday. Rescuers used snowmobiles to help extract the skiers since the Big White Road was blocked due to a crashed truck. So the skiers dug a snow cave and waited for the rescue teams to arrive. And COSAR said they did everything right. They were well prepared. They had the 10 essentials, and the Big White Ski Patrol said they're A-OK. They just need a ride back to, the lodge. There you go.
And a passenger on a helicopter that crashed just north of Terrace on Monday has come to light that they used a guest radio to notify the heli-skiing firm of the accident, says the company's president, John Forrest.
Yeah, so they said that 2 other choppers were near the crash site in the BC backcountry. They located the wreckage and joined the rescue efforts. The 4 survivors were taken, like we said yesterday, to the Terrace Hospital. The victims of the crash have been identified as 3 Italians. So again, you can go on KelownaNow.com and you can see more on this story, and it's got the names of the people that were passed. So a lot more on the story on KelownaNow.com.
Well, it looks like the Okanagan Connector is still closed in both directions after a morning accident just east of Merritt.
Yeah, so just 1 kilometer east of the Cane Valley Road, which is around 13 kilometers east of Merritt. Drive BC reported the crash a little after 8 p.m. on Tuesday night. An update should be coming this morning here if I got that cleared.
And bus and C-bus services in Metro Vancouver were set to resume this morning after their 48-hour strike by supervisors that ground the Coast Mountain Bus Company.
I'm sure that's going to make a lot of people happier as they can get to work. So we'll see how that progresses. So right now, service is supposed to resume.
And the SPM First Nation presented its neighboring municipality with big plans for a mountain resort near the Coquihalla Summit.
Well, they get a lot of snow up there.
Yeah, it sure do.
So they have ambitious plan, and they presented to the District of Hope's Council this week to show how expansive this all-season resort would be. It's located about 40 kilometers north of Hope, and the proposed resort would be located within the South Anderson Valley, which is located on their traditional territory. Chief James Hobart calls it the first Indigenous-driven comprehensive all-season mountain resort in the province. Winter operations are focused on skiing, snowboarding for all abilities, and outdoor hiking and mountain biking the summer season. And the package was presented to Hope Council members. Other activities could include cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, backcountry skiing, skating, mountain biking, fishing, climbing, and more during the summer. The size of the proposed development is about 7,415 hectares. How big is a hectare?
About the size of the Apple Bowl.
There you go. So 7,400 of those. And it would see about 11 ski lifts installed in 3 phases, which could eventually carry about 9,000 skiers and snowboarders per day. So there you go. More on this again if you go to kelownanow.com and you can read that. That proposed resort location is a scenic 25 kilometers east of the former logging roads. There you go.
And Ontario-born, but now longtime Northern BC resident, Brandon Broderick is Canadian Geographics 2023 Photographer of the Year. Congratulations, Brandon.
That's awesome accolades for the young man. Mm-hmm. So
cool shot there too.
Yeah. Who doesn't like a small kitty cat? I think that's a lynx or a bobcat, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say lynx maybe. And shame. Yeah, it's a powerful, painful feeling, and it's one of humiliation or distress, of being foolish or wrong, mortified, embarrassed of losing your dignity, and it can apply to anybody and our, well, sometimes dysfunctional relationship with money. And so
I think a lot of it has to do with right now, a lot of people are feeling really distressed about their finances, and they don't like to admit it. So, I mean, that's one of the things, the article's about that. Steve McNall did the article. It's like a lot of millennials and young people are definitely feeling it. The survey found 36% of Canadians feel shame about their financial situation. That number jumps to about 42 when you consider millennials aged between 28 and 43. 90% of millennials are reporting financial worries, right? I mean, in this day and age, like it's...
well, think about the millennials when they were hitting the workforce. That was just after 2008. So 2011, the financial markets were just still in shambles. So job prospects were quite a bit lessened during that time. Then they deal with the pandemic and everything else now. So it's not been exactly paddling in the currents.
They are tough economic times.
Yeah. Kelowna water rates going up 6% over the next 2 years. And what's this for the foreseeable future?
Not just 6%, 6% per year for the next 2 years. So 12.
12, right.
So there you go. During the Monday meeting, City Council voted in favor of the increases over 2024 and 2025 to address the city's aging system. They say the water system is slowly aging. Of course, everything slowly ages, including you and I. So they added a lot of an older system, of course, when they took over the Southeast Kelowna irrigation system. So that is definitely an old agricultural system, and the agricultural systems in this area definitely are the older systems. And they were likely put in with not as much thought for residential as would have done for, you know what I mean, like when you're doing agricultural systems. Mm-hmm. And so the city's water main renewal system have increased tremendously over the last decade. And it's 3 to 4 times higher than it was in 2011 and 2012. Staff said it has a significant impact on their facilities with existing funding. So there you go. You're going to pay a lot more for water.
And traffic stops have led BC police to seize $111,000 in cash and $100,000 worth of drugs.
So that's what $111,000 in cash looks like.
There you go.
Hey?
20s, 50s, and hundos.
There you go. There you go. On January 18th, members of the New Westminster Gang Suppression Unit observed a suspicious vehicle at an intersection near the city's Moody Park. An officer stopped the vehicle, and when speaking with the driver, discovered they're prohibited from driving. So the driver was arrested, and thousands of dollars cash was seized. And that's that old saying, don't do 2 crimes at once. It's lots of times people get caught doing that. There you go. That's good. They took the drugs off the road and the cash.
And one city councillor wants the city to review when construction is allowed to begin.
Rick Weber told the rest of the council he would be bringing forward a motion at a future meeting to have staff review city bylaws. The intent of the motion would be to ask council for approval to instruct city staff to review Kelowna's regulations for hours of building construction, with the amount of construction currently happening in all neighborhoods, and some of them quite close to existing homes. He thinks now it's a good time to review construction times, and because currently construction can go from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. 365 days a year. So I guess somebody's like, hey, the hammers are too loud. So hey, first you got to build homes, and now it's like too loud, right?
Well, if you're raising babies and children, I can understand that at some of those earlier hours for sure, or later hours. But
that doesn't stop your neighbors from firing up the snowblower or the lawnmower, I guess, right?
True.
Yeah.
And 170 kids who are part of the Kelowna Aquajets Swim Club are in great hands as Aquajets head coach swimmer Mark Tremblay has been named Swimming Canada's 2023 Junior Coach of the Year.
Well, congratulations, Mark. I think we're trying to get him in for a live stream, so we'll leave it at that for now.
Okay.
And we got 5 things to look at.
Let's take a look.
Number 1. Drum roll? You got a drum roll? Or what? There you go. And there you go. As expected, we had Dan McTeague on the show, and he said that the Liberals would probably be calling for a review of Trudeau's leadership in their February retreat. And there you go. There's the first shoe to drop, right? Especially after the news yesterday that the Emergencies Act was unjustified. And I'm sure some of the MPs are going to start to try to distance themselves from Mr. Trudeau.
Well, that's what Dan predicted there.
So we've been kind of talking about this story. So we have seen it in a couple of the players taking leaves of absence. And there you go. The hockey players to be charged with sexual assault. And that has to do with the Canada's World Junior Hockey Team. There's 5 of them facing sexual assault charges.
This is the 2018
They've been told
team.
to turn themselves in.
Wow.
I think they have to turn themselves in today.
And Trump, of course, continues his presidential primary wins.
There you go. Some people thought Nikki Haley would drop out, but she said she's just begun to fight. So
okay.
I don't know if she's got a lot of fight in her, but we'll see. So that's 2 for Iowa and now New Hampshire. So, and then, of course, we're getting reaction from Jagmeet Singh, who calls Trump an egomaniac. I wonder if there's a mirror around. There you go. So that's what Jagmeet has to say.
Yeah. Well.
He's a sharp dresser, though, eh?
Oh, yeah.
I like that. He's definitely a sharp dresser. Drives a BMW and wears a Rolex. Nothing wrong with that, though.
Yeah. And last one on our list here, Ukraine-born model named Miss Japan.
Some Japanese have responded with confusion after a Ukraine-born model was crowned this year's Miss Japan. Okay. It's in the United States of America that, in Canada, it's people of all descents there.
Yeah. True enough, right? True. Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they're just not used to it.
Interesting. Okay. Well.
Interesting. How about some weather?
How about it? We're going to have some today. Expecting some.
We're going to have weather?
We are.
There you go. That's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah. We're going to get some wet weather today, some showers and a high of 3 degrees. So mild weather continues. Let's take a look out the window, take a look at those clouds, and a few cars driving about.
Moving. Not a lot of traffic, but it is moving out there, so that's great news.
Yeah. And then we'll take a look at some of the roads around the province that is heading east to Calgary there at the summit, Rogers Pass. And now this is the Coquihalla Summit. And we'll take a look at the Connector Summit there. So the Connector looks like it's probably the worst of the bunch, but otherwise wet,
look
compact
at that,
snow conditions.
6 degrees on Saturday.
Yeah, so it really does get quite a bit warmer. And tonight, tomorrow night, we'll slip below 0, but otherwise it's on the plus side right through the weekend. Expect some sunshine tomorrow and a little bit more for Friday, and cloudy and wet conditions for the weekend. And the weather is brought to you by ATB Wealth. Realize your vision of wealth at atb.com/wealthkelowna.
We're going to be moving into our new studio here for the 4 o'clock news, I think.
The elves have been busy hammering and working away.
So if you want to check back and see what our new studio looks like at 4 o'clock, we'd appreciate that.
All right.
Until then,
have a great day.